Chairman just said a few minutes ago that since the Supreme Court's decision in Shelby County in 2013, so 8 years ago, he said there's been all kinds of voter suppression acts and everything else. Well, if there have been, they're certainly not working. I mean, here's what the Chief Justice said. Black turnout in the most recent election exceeded white voter turnout in 5 of the 6 states originally covered by the Voting Rights Act. So if there's been all this suppression that previous Democrats speakers have talked about, I'm sure it isn't working very well because we have record turnout, which is, as we've said now multiple times, the ranking member said it, I think all the Republicans, is a good thing. So of course that hasn't happened. I was also amazed by the previous, the gentlelady from Pennsylvania. She said, Republicans have engaged in extreme gerrymandering. And I almost started laughing because she comes from the state where the state Supreme Court, controlled by Democrats, just redrew all the districts in Pennsylvania in the middle of the 10-year cycle. And yet she has the nerve to say, oh, Republicans have engaged in extreme gerrymandering when their state Supreme Court did that. We all know we've had colleagues who were impacted by that. So, again, I guess you could say all kinds of things, but it's nice if it's actually backed up by fact. And the fact is, we have record turnout. If there have been voter suppression acts passed in the last 8 years, they sure aren't working very well because record turnout amongst all groups, particularly African Americans, which, as I said, exceeded white turnout in 5 of the 6 states originally covered by the Voting Rights Act.
Thank you, Ranking Member. And Ranking Member, Section 3 of the bill, it creates a retrogression provision. I'm wondering if you could speak to that because it seems like this language is very broad and open-ended.
Right, and the general concern, I think, I appreciate bringing this point up as well. The general concern is this requirement that now to do anything different, you got to get an okay from the federal government. It's going to make it, I think, real. I think the focus is on voter ID, photo ID requirements. Third, I think, is this idea that certain states have a pretty strong photo ID, voter ID requirement. That may be in jeopardy current law. They may have to get the okay from the federal government for what they've been doing, have been doing, and are currently doing. And then finally, the fourth thing I think is all part of this that concerns me is this idea that you're going to have this tally. If you have some liberal interest group that sues your state on some concern about the election law, and you enter into some kind of settlement, some kind of consent decree, that's going to be counted as a mark against you, and it's going to further, you get so many bad marks, we'll call them, you're going to have the Justice Department coming after you as well. So that's all part of this concern I think we have with the legislation, not to mention the main point we made, which is we're just not seeing it. There's record turnout amongst all groups in the country.
And finally, Ranking Member, there is the provisions with the Attorney General and their ability to kind of reach in and before there's even real proof or anything. And I don't know if you'd like to comment on that.
Yeah, I sort of, I guess I said some of that in my previous answer. What also concerns me about, and I think I had this maybe in my opening comments, is this idea that for those states, if you remember when Attorney General Barr left, he said if your state goes back to the law it had pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, you're fine. If you go back to the law that they had been in effect just a year ago and had been working fine and never had a problem, no Justice Department in the Obama administration or the Trump administration had said any concern about it, that was presumed fine. Now the Garland Justice Department and the Biden administration is saying, nope, can't do that. If you're going to go back to where you were just a few months ago, you're going to have to get the okay from the federal government. Meanwhile, at the same time they're saying that, they're saying we're not going to look at changes you made and whether those adhered to the Constitution or in any way may have violated someone's rights. We're not going to look at those. For example, I look at just the simple fact, Madison, Wisconsin, Dane County went to drop boxes. The legislature didn't pass that. They just decided we're going to have drop boxes during the last election.